Now, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace be upon you viewers. You are watching the YouTube channel. I am Imran Khan. First of all, what I've been mentioning to you, which I've discussed in 2 blogs, is that a subtle operation is underway in Pakistan, and these days a very quiet action is being carried out. This action is being carried out at a time when a disastrous budget has been presented in Pakistan, and this budget is an IMF budget. That is, for the first time in Pakistan, it is happening that the government itself is compelled to admit, and the government itself says that indeed the budget was approved only after getting approval from the IMF, and news about this keeps surfacing as well. In other words, the government seeks permission from the IMF for whatever it wants to do, and as the IMF issues directives, they act accordingly. In fact, the government has given the IMF access to many institutions and many matters. This has never happened before in the history of Pakistan. But with great stubbornness, the government not only accepts all these things, but also claims that they are doing it in Pakistan's best interest. Previously, this very government used to level similar accusations against the past government, even though that government had not taken such steps. And back then, inflation was not like this, nor were the circumstances. Anyway, that's a subtle maneuver. Let's come to that now. The subtle maneuver in which the Pakistani government and establishment are engaged is such that what happened in 2018 is being repeated in 2024. That is, it is repeatedly said, and this is being deliberately propagated. Various types of touts are being brought forward. People from different sectors are being put in the field, and they are deliberately being told, well, Imran Khan did the same thing, didn't he? So they did the same thing too. They want to make everyone appear the same. See, they couldn't bring Imran Khan down, nor could they lift Nawaz Sharif up. So now they are trying to create some possibilities to make both of them equal. For this, new touts are being brought in saying, look, the same thing happened in 2018. The election was just like this. So is the memory of Pakistanis so weak? Or can Pakistanis be fooled so easily? Let me present some facts to you about what happened in 2024 that you couldn't even have imagined in 2018, or things you couldn't have even thought about in 2018, which actually happened in 2024. The 2018 election was an election just like the ones that usually take place in Pakistan. The establishment keeps analyzing every election, and wherever they see an opportunity, they intervene a little. But the entire 2024 election, the way it was designed, the way it was conducted, the way its results were produced at such an election, such a disgraceful election, has never happened before in Pakistan's history. Now, let me present a few things before you. And when I say a few things, I could present many more. But for the sake of the record, I am putting these particular points before you. Number 1, in 2018, all the surveys showed that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf was the most popular party. So they formed the government. But in the 2024 election, all the surveys again showed that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf was the most popular party. Yet they were not allowed to form the government. Number 2, in 2018, no MNA was abducted, nor was any MPA abducted. That is, those contesting the election, the MNAs and MPAs, were not abducted. But in 2024, this did happen. In 2018, the nomination papers of MPAs or MNAs who were going to submit them were not snatched from them. But in 2024, this happened. In 2018, the proposers and seconders were not abducted or made to disappear. But in 2024, this was done. In 2018, no political party symbol was taken away. But in 2024, the election symbol of the largest and most popular political party was taken away. In 2018, 10,000 members of any political party were not imprisoned. A few people from every political party do end up in jail. That happens. Yes, Nawaz Sharif and Maryam Nawaz themselves came from abroad and made a sacrifice saying, sir, we are going to jail, and they gained political advantage from that. But for about 10,000 members of a single political party to be thrown into jails, this only happened in 2024. In 2018, nomination papers of candidates were not rejected on a large scale. But here in 2024, nomination papers of candidates were rejected on a massive scale. In 2018, the bureaucracy was not used for this purpose. That time, the judges did this work. But in 2024, bureaucrats were used and made to carry out rigging. In 2018, there were no attacks on the sanctity of the home and privacy. But in 2024, nearly 100,000 raids have taken place, and the sanctity of the home and privacy has been violated. In 2018, there were no disappearances or abductions for the sake of statements. The agencies abducted people to force statements. This happened in 2024. It happened in 2023, but it did not happen in 2018. The party that was under pressure at that time, meaning people used to say that PMLN was under pressure, then their letter was not completely ignored at all. All of this was happening, but there were no restrictions on them in the media. In fact, it was to the extent that their party was openly campaigning everywhere, holding rallies and processions all over. Shehbaz Sharif was running a full campaign everywhere, and others were campaigning as well. But in 2024, Imran Khan's image and voice were completely absent, could neither be seen nor heard. There was even a ban on the media that they couldn't mention his name. Even so, they still contested the election. A week before the 2018 election, no leader was sentenced to up to 35 years in prison by holding courts day and night inside jails. But in 2024, this was done as well. In 2018, baseless cases like the IDAT and Cypher cases were not fabricated. But in 2024, this too was done. There were no restrictions on mentioning names on TV and media in 2018. But in 2024, such restrictions existed. In the 2018 election, the internet was not shut down. But in the 2024 election, the internet was also suspended. In the 2018 election, returning officers were not changed in the middle of the night. But in the 2024 election, returning officers were changed at midnight. In the 2018 election, results were not withheld, nor were all parties gathered together to offer fake Form 47s to those with only a few seats. But in the 2024 election, fake Form 47s were offered. At that time, when Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf was clearly winning with a lead on 180 seats 7, though they did not even have their own election symbol, results were stopped. Everyone was called in, made to sit, intimidated and told, "Sir, we can give you fake Form 47s." They said, "Go ahead, give them." And then a deal was struck for the fake Form 47s. In every election in Pakistan, the establishment does some manipulation. But in this election in the past 50 years, no election has been as tainted as this one. In the 2018 election, whatever result came, it was accepted. But after the 2024 election, the results kept changing for several days. The seats that independent candidates of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf had won were later given to PMLN through repeated recounting. And this was done in many places. This happened in 2024. After the 2018 election, the laws were not changed, the tribunals were not changed. But in 2024, all this was done to cover up the rigging. Retired judges were appointed saying these are the tribunals and they will hear the rigging cases. So all this was done in the 2024 election. They even changed the constitution to save the 2024 election, destroyed the structure of the judiciary. And one very important thing, there was a level playing field in 2018, meaning Nawaz Sharif and Maryam Nawaz were in jail, which actually benefited PMLN. And even if they hadn't been in jail, it wouldn't have made a huge difference for PMLN because they had almost completed their campaign. But on the other hand, there was no level playing field in 2024. In 2024, you couldn't even raise the flag of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. You couldn't chant their slogans. You couldn't open a PTI office. You couldn't set up a PTI camp. You couldn't even put up a poster of Imran Khan. Despite such brutality, in the 2024 election, the public still made Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf successful. Now, many touts are trying to prove that 2018 and 2024 were the same. There is a world of difference between them. They cannot be the same. I admit that Pakistan's establishment has always done despicable things. I admit that the establishment has always tried to steal the people's mandate. I admit that Pakistan's establishment has played a dirty and vile role in every election. But what they did in 2024 cannot be compared to their past record. Yes, there is only one election after which Bangladesh broke away, when Yahya Khan did not accept the election, when the results were not accepted, and when Zulfikar Ali Bhutto did not accept them. Pakistan was split in two. But that is a 50-year-old, even 55-year-old story. The reality is that the establishment is very bad, but it has never played such a terrifying role as it did in 2024. So those who try to equate these two things are being very sly. I have laid it out before you. Another thing that is often compared is that people say, well, Nawaz Sharif also went to jail, Zardari also went to jail, so Imran Khan is also in jail. They say Imran Khan gets to meet people in jail, he gets this and that, brother, he gets nothing. The facilities Imran Khan has in jail are not even 10% of what Zardari and Nawaz Sharif had. The cell Imran Khan is locked in. Nawaz Sharif and Zardari probably never spent even a single day of their lives in such a cell. Imran Khan is locked in a small 6'8" cell, and his whole life is inside that cell. His only luxury is that he gets a book to read. Whereas Zardari and Nawaz Sharif had nothing to do with books. They needed many other things and they got all of them. For example, Nawaz Sharif even had an air conditioner in jail, and the suites in jail, that there is a class of suites in jail that is given to leaders, and both of them used to get those. And it is on record that neither of them ever spent more than a few months in jail. They would always fall ill and on medical grounds would be shifted to hospitals or better places. This is the record of these families and their parties. Imran Khan is becoming the only leader in Pakistan who has stayed inside jail and has never been admitted to a hospital, not even for a single day, nor has he ever made illness an excuse. So this is also a difference as vast as the earth and sky. Some people try to lump these things together, some try to play games and want to prove that Imran Khan and these other people are the same, that they are all alike. They want to prove that Imran Khan and these other people are the same. Action is being taken on something else. The media in Pakistan that cannot even mention Imran Khan's name, the same media that can show pictures of Netanyahu and Modi but cannot show a picture of Imran Khan. The media in Pakistan that can air the statements of Pakistan's enemies and bring their words to the public, but cannot bring Imran Khan's statements to the public. When people from that media repeatedly demand from you, why hasn't Imran Khan tweeted about Israel yet? Then you should understand that this is hypocrisy. Let's suppose Imran Khan hasn't tweeted yet. Or maybe in a day or two, he will have another meeting and might tweet again. Maybe his statement or opinion on the matter will come out. It could come out today or maybe it won't. But the real issue is, are all the statements Imran Khan has made against Israel or the statements he has made in support of the Palestinians, are those statements being shown by Pakistan's media today? Or was Pakistan's media able to show those statements when Imran Khan gave them while sitting in jail? Today, the entire media is in a rush asking why Imran Khan's statement hasn't come out yet. I have a question for the media. Out of the last 10 statements Imran Khan has made, how many of them have you aired and broadcasted on your channels? You didn't air them or broadcast them. So then why are you being hypocritical in insisting that you absolutely need his statement? You don't ask for statements from those who are roaming free. You don't ask the interior minister for a statement. You don't ask the army chief for a statement. You don't ask Nawaz Sharif for a statement. You don't ask Zardari for a statement. You don't ask these other people what their statement is or why they aren't making a statement, why they aren't speaking. But you ask Imran Khan this too is a kind of hypocrisy that is happening in Pakistan. And now, viewers, regarding the meeting that Field Marshal had with Donald Trump, there is a sense of disappointment within Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, especially among overseas Pakistanis. They had worked very hard and believed that whenever Donald Trump would talk about Pakistan or anything related to Pakistan, he would definitely mention Imran Khan and the injustice being done to him. But that conversation perhaps didn't happen, or it hasn't been reported yet. Maybe it will be reported in the coming days. So the situation is just as Imran Khan had said. Imran Khan had said that he would get justice on the streets because the state of the judiciary is in front of you. There was a time when it seemed that justice would be done in Pakistan. That situation is also in front of you. So in such circumstances, Imran Khan will only get justice on the streets. Will Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf be able to take to the streets and get justice for Imran Khan? This is a question that, in my opinion, is no longer worth raising because the leadership of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf has repeatedly wasted opportunities. Especially Ali Amin Gandapur Sahib, who twice squandered such opportunities when Imran Khan Sahib, sitting in jail, led a major movement and made great efforts. A huge number of people came out, a massive crowd gathered, but that opportunity was wasted. And the current leadership of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is once again trying to build momentum for protests. And all those people whom the establishment had strung along with false hopes that Imran Khan Sahib would be released soon, that things would improve, are now deeply disappointed with the establishment. Because the establishment has deceived them once again. As soon as the establishment got a little breathing room, and as soon as they managed to establish some dialogue with the American administration and the environment for meetings was created, or after the India conflict, when the establishment got a bit of a cushion, their attitude changed immediately. Now they have no concern for these matters. At least for now. Until they themselves are in trouble or get stuck, they will continue this deception. This is clearly visible. Now, those in Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf who had pinned their hopes on convincing the establishment have suffered a major setback. The reconciliatory group within PTI, so now, PTI has no path left except resistance. And as for the current rulers, their commitment to democracy is so weak that you'd be surprised, Bilawal tweeted, and their situation is such that when the army chief gave a speech in America, he compared the rulers to a dog. As he said, if even a dog is ruling over you, there was a journalist reporting this, if even a dog is ruling over you and does good work, you should support him. So for the army chief to liken a ruler to a dog and for the current government to remain completely silent despite this is very interesting. Even if the army chief had said something else to this government or any government, they would not have said a word. No matter how much politicians or rulers are insulted, the shoe polishing must continue. Because they have realized that as long as they keep polishing shoes, they will keep getting the bone of power, and the one who throws the bone and the one who receives it is seen exactly as the army chief described. Now, the situation is that despite all this, no one's sense of honor has been stirred, and what a fate. Poor Shehbaz Sharif Hassan insult comes from here, another from there, and in the midst of all these insults, he quietly bows his head and enjoys the perks of power, never once getting angry, never once feeling any shame. That's one thing. Secondly, Bilawal Zardari and the People's Party, Bilawal Zardari is now sharing the good news of the Field Marshal's meeting with Donald Trump on his Twitter. This is the same political party whose leader used to say that the army should not interfere in politics, that the army has no business except its own, that the army should not interfere in foreign policy, domestic policy, or administrative matters. Today, that same woman's son, Benazir's son, Bilawal Zardari, is offering congratulations and sharing the good news with the nation that the Field Marshal is meeting the US President. Just imagine they have now ideologically accepted that they will enjoy the perks of power by sitting in the lap of the military establishment. The People's Party has decided this, and so has PMLN. Now, the competition between them is not about public support. The competition is not about who can gather more public support. The competition will always be about who can polish shoes better. The better the shoe polishing, the greater the chances of forming the federal government, and the provincial governments will also fall in line. This is the formula running in their minds. Until the public wakes up, these things will continue. Now, when the opposition was supposed to give a speech in the Punjab Assembly, the 4 microphones at the front for the opposition leader were all broken, and the ones at the back were turned off. Just imagine such a dictatorship exists within them. So what need is there for a dictator? These political parties, in praising dictators, have themselves become dictators. Viewers, there are some updates regarding Iran and Israel. Iran has launched a massive missile attack on Israel, causing widespread destruction. More than 50 Israeli citizens have been injured in the attacks, and in the latest assault, dozens of drones and advanced missiles were launched from Iran. These missiles had not been used before. These are new missiles, and many videos are also surfacing. In addition, due to the Iranian attacks, those hiding in secret locations or bunkers, Israeli citizens are experiencing significant fear. Reports are coming in about this situation. Meanwhile, the Israeli defense minister has issued a threat saying that after the hospital attack, they now have justification to assassinate Ayatollah Khamenei and that an attack on Ayatollah Khamenei could take place. In response, Iran and its allies have stated that if any such action is taken against Ayatollah Khamenei, or if there is any attempt to assassinate or actually assassinate him, the consequences will be severe and the situation will become extremely dangerous. Viewers, this is the current situation. Iran has expressed willingness to resume negotiations that had previously ended. On nuclear matters, an important meeting has been scheduled in Geneva. The path to talks with Iran has opened up to some extent, and if this meeting takes place and the ice begins to melt, there is hope for a ceasefire. Iran wants a ceasefire and does not want the war to escalate further because Iran has already inflicted damage on Israel, while Israel, in its initial attacks, caused significant losses to Iran, killing its military leaders and scientists and damaging its nuclear sites. Now, Iran is also claiming that they were never building an atomic bomb, that they had no such intention. In 2003, Ayatollah Khamenei had forbidden Iran from becoming a nuclear power, so they never intended to build an atomic bomb. Iran is now bringing these points forward, and along with this is opening the doors to dialogue. On the other hand, American newspapers have reported that Donald Trump has given the order for an attack, but the attack will not begin until the final order is given. Iran has also said that it is willing to meet with the US for a ceasefire, that is, they can meet with America for the sake of a ceasefire. However, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei has publicly opposed meeting with the US, saying that they will not meet with America. But according to the Times of Israel, a New York Times report stated that a senior Iranian foreign ministry official said Iran is willing to meet with the US. But talks have to happen. You can talk after the war or before the war. But dialogue is the solution to the problem. The Russian president has also issued a statement saying that he is ready to play the role of mediator in ending the Iran-Israel war and that he can play this role. Russia is a country that has relations with both Israel and Iran, and it can play the role of brokering a ceasefire. There are many countries that have relations with both sides, but Russia is at the top of the list. The US has a relationship with Israel and a bit of mistrust with Iran, but Russia maintains ties with both countries and can help broker a ceasefire. So there is an opportunity for peace here. If the global powers want, peace can be established in the region immediately. But if peace is not achieved now and they move towards regime change in Iran or a major war, then the situation will escalate. How far things will go, we cannot predict at this time. We will keep monitoring this situation and continue to share updates with you. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves and of this channel. Allah Hafiz.